Welcome to this demonstration of an upcoming heads-up display and table management application for PokerStars. This product began as a personal tool, and over the last couple of years, it's grown into a fully configurable commercial product which PokerStars has reviewed and approved. It comes with a large number of optional plugins. New plugins will be added in future, possibly by third-party developers. We're going to do a run-through of all the major features. You can either watch the video through, or click on any of these video links to jump to the sections that interest you. We're going to look at the effective stack display, a dynamically updating effective starting stack in adjusted big blinds. We'll also cover the stack chart, a graphical view of all stacks at the table, which is perfect for visualizing ICM situations. I'll show you the pot odds and stack to pot ratio plugins, which perform simple calculations to help speed up post-flop decision making. We'll look at the line taken, which records hero's actions in the current hand, the table glyph for instant table identification. We'll also look at the player stats plugin. This is a demonstration of a future product which displays opponent statistics and automated notes, and the hotkey system for advanced keyboard shortcuts. Finally, we'll look briefly at the table manager, action messages, and dimmer features. Let's begin with the effective stack, which is displayed in big blinds. It's based on the starting stacks of the players who have not yet folded. This requires some simple pixel sensing to determine who is still in the hand. The units are adjustable under General Preferences. If we choose no adjustment, the stack will be displayed in actual big blinds. This will update immediately when the blinds increase, something that the existing big products fail to do. Anti-adjustment is the common method of adding 2/3 of the anti-pot to the big blind. The default setting is starting pot adjustment, which uses 2/3 of the actual posted starting pot as our adjusted big blind. This takes into account unusual cases where the starting pot can be smaller than normal, as well as the more common post-ante case. Finally, we have Magriel's M, which uses the whole starting pot as the unit of display. Whatever units we choose, we can make use of the extensive in-game tooltips to check what units are being displayed. Going back to the effective stack preferences, we see 3 color settings for the display. The green one is for when we have the opportunity to open the pot. Red is for when it's our turn to act pre-flop, but the pot has already been opened. This helps hero to act faster and with fewer mistakes, such as missing an open limp, for example. The effective stack is an invaluable tool for determining ranges, especially in the sit-and-go late game. We'll look at some examples in the next section. We now turn our attention to the stack chart. This is a graphical representation of all starting stacks at the table, which are dimmed out as players fold from the hand. The stack chart is a fantastic tool for evaluating ICM situations. It allows us to visually recognize common spots and estimate equilibrium ranges. Here's a common situation from a 6-max single table tournament. We're looking to pwn the bubble here, but how much can we widen compared to a heads-up blind-on-blind spot? Not too much in this case. Since the small stack is smallest by a significant ratio, this diminishes the bubble factor. So we would expect 8-6 offsuit to be a borderline shove in Nash. Of course, we always take into account opponent tendencies, and we might fold or possibly raise fold this hand based on our read. Now we see a spot where hero is covering the remaining stacks. The effective stack of 8.3 anti-adjusted big blinds is displayed alongside hero's stack of 16.3. Even with many players remaining in the hand, we can assess the situation at a glance, saving time and cutting down on errors. Here's another example where we see the sitting out player clearly highlighted in the stack chart. This is a very useful feature to help cut down on table reading errors, such as open folding when there are players sitting out to our left. Now let's check out the pot odds display. This is a fundamental poker concept where we show the ratio of the effective pot to the amount to call. Again, the goal is to improve our speed and accuracy, especially in cases like this one, where our opponent has us covered. We can't win the displayed pot, so what is the effective pot? One way to calculate is to take the pot from the previous round, plus twice our bet amount, plus the amount to call, which is 2,721, to the amount to call, or about 3 to 1. To save us this effort, the plugin displays these amounts, as well as the equivalent minimum hand equity of 25%. This frees up more time to think about higher level game concepts. Next, we turn to the stack to pot ratio display, or SPR. This shows the ratio of the effective remaining stack to the effective pot at the beginning of the current betting round. In this case, since we covered the remaining players, the effective remaining stack is 606, and the pot is 210. So our SPR is 2.9 at the beginning of the flop. When a bet has been made, the display also shows what the SPR would be at the beginning of the next betting round if all the remaining players were to call. SPR is a great tool for determining and manipulating pot commitment situations. For more information, see Professional No Limit Hold'em Volume 1. Next, the Line Taken plugin, which shows our previous actions in the current hand. This is great for when you have so many tables up that it's difficult to always remember what happened earlier in the hand. It's all too easy to accidentally donk bet, for example. With the Line Taken plugin, we can simply glance down to confirm who had the pre-flop initiative. Here's an interesting example where we face a pot-sized shove on the river. A quick look at the line taken reminds us of just how passively the hand has been played up to this point. There's only our single turn bet, which must have been called. It's hard to credit villain story here, making a hero call well worth considering. Now let's have a look at the table glyph. The glyph is assigned when a table first opens, and doesn't change during the game. It serves two main purposes. Firstly, it provides instant recognition of the game type. We can create various visual styles and associate them with whatever game types we normally play. For instance, here's a 6-max table. This is the same glyph on a 9-max table. Or a knockout game where we've chosen a double outline style. Here we're additionally using red for our higher buy-in games, white for middle, and green for low buy-in, but you can use whatever styles make sense for you. The idea is to allow us to more easily play a large number of mixed format games, and receive all the relevant information in a small area close to our hole cards, saving us from having to constantly read the window title. Using the glyph tooltip, we can see the classes which have been detected for the current game. The appearance of these classes is fully configurable in Preferences using the CSS Stylesheet editor. The second purpose of the table glyph is to make it easier for us to recall a specific table when playing a large number of otherwise similar looking games. As each table opens, it's assigned a glyph shape from this sequence. This way, every running game has a unique glyph which we can use to remember the table. For example, it would be useful to remember that we've been 3-betting a lot recently on Fish Table. Also, we can use the glyph as the Windows icon for the table. This allows us to stack tables and quickly find them again in the taskbar or Alt-Tab menu. As a bonus, we can now just glance at the taskbar to get a sense of how many high buy-in and low buy-in games we're currently playing. Speaking of the taskbar, there are a number of options that control the icon appearance. We can show a progress bar when the table is waiting for hero to act. We can have the window frame flash at the same time. And we can set the background color of the icon, red when needing action, yellow if we're still in the hand, and green if we folded. Next, we'll have a quick look at the Player Statistics plugin. This is included only as a demonstration of a future product which will provide opponent statistics and automated notes. For now, the plugin is drawing data from Hold'em Manager 2 and NoteCaddy. Notice that we can dim the stats panel when the player is folded or showing down. This saves a lot of screen space because we can place panels directly above opponent hole cards without obscuring showdowns. Although it's technically possible to modify the plugin to create your own HUD, for now the suggestion is to continue using your existing HUD for statistics. In future, we'll offer an alternative product which will import hands and generate advanced statistics and notes to feed into the Player Stats plugin. If you're already using PokerStars hotkeys, then you know how valuable they are for multi-tabling. Now I'd like to show you an even more powerful system that works hand in hand with PokerStars. Although obviously you can map the commands to any keys you wish, we provide a default setup which works very well on a number pad. Any will do, but we would recommend a high quality separate numpad, such as the wireless units from Microsoft or Logitech. We've also tried the inexpensive Sunread, which works quite well. Let's begin with the poker action hotkeys in the default setup. To fold, we hold down 0 and press enter. Notice that the keys are not adjacent, making it virtually impossible to miskey. Another vital safety mechanism is provided. If the currently active table changes in between the two key presses, then the fold is ignored and we hear an error sound. This gives us two different ways of using the same hotkey. When it's our turn to act, we know that a new table can't pop up. In that case, we can quickly hit both keys in safety. On the other hand, if we would like to pre-fold a hand, we can press the 0, confirm that the table didn't change, and then safely hit the enter key. If another table pops up just before striking enter, the fold will not execute. All of the poker action hotkeys work this way. We have one enter for fold to any, minus enter for call, and slash enter to shove. Check is a little different. We double tap the dot key. This is also safe in the sense that if the table changes between taps, the check command is ignored. For betting or raising, we can either type the amount as normal, or we have a large number of sizing hotkeys. In the default mapping, these all begin with the dot key combined with a digit. For example, dot 2 sets a standard open raise sizing, which depends upon the current effective stack, as displayed by the plugin. This allows us to raise more when stacks are deeper, and to reduce down to a min raise as the stacks get shallower. This is adjustable using a range slider, where we set the stack depth for min raising and the depth for 3xing. When the effective stack is less than the min raise depth, we min raise. When it's equal to the 3x depth, we 3x. Otherwise, we linearly interpolate. This hotkey also allows us to increase the sizing by tapping more than once. For example, here we tap the key once for the standard open, and once more to account for the limper. Additional taps would handle additional limpers. The default setting is 30% for each additional tap, but this could also be set to one big blind, for example. There are two additional standard open settings, which we can use for modified sizings. Dot 3 uses the large standard open setting, which I prefer to use if opening out of position in the small blind. Dot 1 is a smaller open. Digits 4 through 9 are used for pot percentage bet sizings. Of course, we can use whatever percentages we want for both single taps and double taps. By default, dot 5 is half pot, dot 8 is 45% or 55 if double tapped. We can also mark hands using hotkeys. Both Hold'em Manager 2 and Poker Tracker 4 are supported. 5+ marks the current hand for review. 5- marks the previous hand. Other markings can also be defined, and the suggestion is to use different digits for those. Another useful group of table hotkeys are for chat messages. Again, you can set up whatever messages you want. You press the hotkey once to fill the chat box, and again to send the message. A nice benefit of this is that we don't need to change focus. So if we're typing in the bet box, for example, we can fire off the chat and simply continue what we were doing without messing around with the mouse. Now let's turn to hotkeys that work even when a poker table is not active. Most importantly, we can double tap the plus key to activate the next action table. This works from any window, such as a browser or the Preferences dialog, allowing us to get straight back to the action. Next, we have the voice recording feature. Simply hold down 5 and dot to record a voice note. We find this vastly preferable to handwriting during play because it's faster, and you don't have to take your eyes off the action. We can use 6/ to open the PokerStars lobby at any time. This will launch the app if necessary. Similarly, 5/ opens preferences. If we feel a HUD is obscuring something, we can use .enter to peek behind it. This works on any table, and can even be useful in the Hold'em Manager replayer. Finally, there are some hotkeys for the PokerStars lobby. We can move up and down the list, and register for a tournament with 6*. If you're already registered, the same hotkey will unregister instead. We'll now quickly summarize some of the remaining features. We provide a comprehensive table management system, which allows you to set up a number of table slots. Here we can load up a small 2x2 layout. Tables can be dragged between slots, and if you've designated one slot to be the stack, then tables can be pulled out of the stack unpinned, and will automatically restack at the conclusion of the hand. Otherwise, we can pin the table to keep it unstacked. We can also click to unstack and to restack. All this behavior can be customized in Preferences, and we can also perform all table manipulations using hotkeys rather than the mouse. Action messages provide visual feedback on our hotkey actions. These are certainly useful for making videos, but we prefer to leave them on at all times. Now let's turn on the dimmer, which highlights the active table. This really helps to direct our attention around the screen and cut out any miskeying errors. Thanks a lot for watching.